Watch this. I'm about to get 100,000 coins with one click. Oh my god. This silly little skill tree required 1.6 million coins in order to max. Now they brought that price down to a measly little 780,000 coins. This would still cost around 42,000 Robux if you were trying to pay to win, but now we get to buy a lot more of this stuff. We've still got to cough up 15,000 coins for this, but something like this bigger budget now, I actually can max out. Wow. In fact, that's what I want to do. I want to max all of these cash ones, and I'm back to being broke. Great, everything's all just gone again. But that's not all that they added. They've also buffed several of these skills, which means my precision is now a lot better. My overheal is now a lot better, but they've nerfed a lot of stuff like expanded barracks and improved gunpowder. Imagine spending all these coins on like a 12.5% increase. On top of that, there's now a reset skills button. It'll only cost me 200 coins, but I'll get back 205,000. Except they won't be coins anymore, they will be skill credits, which means you can only spend them on skills. On top of that, that's not even all the news. We've got a sick new tower rework, which we will obviously be checking out, and that would be the Cowboy. And with these new max skill tree upgrades, I think it's worth playing on an insane map. Now first, we're obviously going to start with Golden Cowboy here. This thing now does 4 damage a shot, makes 35 bucks, which means it can now 2-shot these abnormals. This makes it pretty bonkers for early game here. This gold shot now makes $60 as well as doing 6 damage. The spin is even faster, by the way, so this thing is just generally a much stronger tower. And there you go, I got level 2. Now faster instincts, just as always, this is the hidden detection upgrade. This is not an upgrade that you get for money, that's an upgrade that you get for damage. Regardless, I just noticed that I got bonus rewards from an enemy. I've never even realized that. Like, I get that it's the scavenger ability that I had the money to upgrade. That's pretty cool. And look, 2-shotting quicks. Actually, I'm pretty sure it used to be able to do that, although I'm not 100% on that. And here's the bonus wave rewards. Man, 561 on wave 4. Who even needs farms? Now, I think it's pretty important that we talk about some of the future update content that's coming to TDS. First of all, there's obviously PvP. PvP is going to be huge because for something like TDS that gets pretty repetitive, honestly, like you're just playing the same modes over and over, PvP is really going to switch things up. Now, $60, I'm now just realizing it's a lot of money. Anyways, I just got down a Trapper for Fallen Squire because I expected it to be aggro, but we're playing on a new Fallen mode here. Now, PvP is pretty important for them to get right. From the tests that we've had, it was very horde heavy, and the enemy sends were either too strong or too weak. So there's definitely a lot of balancing that needs to take place, but don't worry, that'll all happen. Now, the thing about Cowboy, the drawback, is that you can only place 10 of them now. Not like this is a giant problem or anything, because ultimately sacrificing 2 cowboys to make extra money, and quite a bit for that fact, like an extra 10 bucks. I think that's absolutely worth it. Now they nerfed this thing in terms of damage, but they did compensate by giving the future upgrades more damage. Now, let's actually get a few level 3 cowboys here so we can start getting some shots on these fallen souls. Kind of have to rely on our traps here, but you know, that's okay. But you see this max level cowboy? It is now so much cheaper. It only costs 9.5k, whereas it used to cost like, it was some ridiculous amount. It was like 17k. So it's now actually affordable, but this doesn't change the fact that level 4 cowboy is still the second most efficient after level 2. So basically the way you want to use these cowboys is just get level 2s, and then once you need more defense, get level 4s. And these enemies are honestly scaring me a bit, so I'm going to rush a level 3 trapper, which is now the best level for trapper. And oh boy, this wave could be an issue. I'm going to get down to commander so I can use its ability. Okay, let's use the ability now. Okay, never mind. This is plenty of DPS. And the money is absolutely ludicrous. It's a 3,000 HP enemy that I've just made. I'm up to 7k now, and I can afford the level 3 trapper. And I have 3 commanders, so I can chain. Uh-oh. We're about to leak here, but level 3 trapper is some great damage. In all honesty, this is a buff in the early game for Cowboy and a nerf in the late game, because this now makes less money from max level. It has less DPS, I think. So I guess they've made it much more of like, you know, a money making tower, because it's also cheaper. So if money is what you need, then I guess this thing's got you covered. It's definitely not as crazy as the accelerator rework, and I know I've been kind of glazing it saying it has like 1,000 or 2,000 DPS. Yes, that's the burst, but again, a lot of the time, if the burst is enough to kill the enemy enemy, then you're still effectively getting 1,000 DPS out of it, because by the time the enemy's dead, and the burst will recharge before the next one comes in. So yes, maybe single target, like raw single target, if you're counting its recharge, then it's like 360 DPS. But if you're considering the fact that the burst usually buys you enough time for the next recharge, then its practical DPS is like 1,000, which I think is certainly an insane value. Anyways, I'm gonna get some max Cowboys here. The only reason I'm doing this is because these things are starting to be pretty strong. I'm gonna get another level 3 trapper just to have it. But this could be bad if we don't start focusing on this. Okay, we did start focusing on it, and thanks to our skill tree, we actually survive with some of that bonus HP. But to prevent things like that, I'm just gonna max this guy out and set it to bear traps. In general, you do not want to max out the Cowboys because they'll be doing more damage, so they'll kill off the enemies much faster, giving you less shots. That's why level 4 is pretty much like the best upgrade to stay on as long as you possibly can. But now that the stuff is starting to actually push through, it comes at no cost to us to max out these Cowboys. This looks like something that warrants a few mortars. Yeah, that nearly breaks through all of my defense. I'm gonna get a couple level 2 trappers set to landmines here. A level 3 actually, because it's pretty goated. That's gonna get some pretty great damage dealt. On top of everything, there's also the mortar nerf. If you didn't notice, they've nerfed the mortar by quite a bit. They've decreased its max level damage. They've decreased its explosion radius. This looks like a wave I would be cooked on if I didn't have trapper. There's flying enemies now, and our only source of flying detection is the mortar. Thankfully, the mortar, despite its nerf, is still going to be crazy strong. But here comes a fallen shield. This is where things might not go so easily for us. I have 2 commanders maxed out. I'm going to be ready to use the ability. So far, this is pretty good damage, but okay, yeah, I think the bear traps are just going to shred this thing. Yeah, they certainly do. Yeah, okay. And the Cowboys made me a ton of money that round, so I can get some more bear traps here to prevent any further incidents. Mortar's the most important thing for me to work on right now due to our lack of flying detection. I mean, this is great, man. I'm making so much money. The bonus starting cash is nice. The bonus wave rewards. I mean, look at that. $4,000 and then an extra 1,600 on top of that. That's 5.6k. That's absolutely wild. Like if I had all 8 level 3 farms placed down, we would be seeing something of that sort. Now this wave could potentially be problematic. I'm gonna try and get this accelerator maxed here. Maybe I want to send out some APCs. Oh yeah, the ability cooldown makes them 57 seconds. And okay, wait, that's actually a lot of extra money. Please. He just non-stop stunning my stuff. Okay. Come on, get him. Yes, accelerators. Holy crap, that was a close one. Only reason for that being the fact that I didn't have any accelerators set up. Now that I do, my DPS is going to be looking absolutely incredible. And now the money's also starting to kick in. I mean, like, could have used this a bit earlier, you know, just saying. And this fallen angel could be problematic. The mortars are our only form of DPS besides, you know, potentially using commander's ability, which is something that I think might actually have to happen here on the later waves. But here's what I mean. Like, look at these accelerators lock on, right? Their cooldown would be an issue, but they kill this thing before they even have a chance to get to their cooldown. Like, in that sense, they have an effective 1,000 DPS. In this case, you know, when there's enemies alive in their range for a long time, I guess, yes, you have to think about the overcharge. There you go. That's 8 max level accelerators, 4 max level commanders, all mortars maxed, all trappers maxed. Yeah, we're good. If I had to give accelerator like a DPS, I would probably put it at like, you know, I guess you'd be expecting it to perform at like 600. It's not 1,000, but with the way it usually ends up with time to recharge when there's no enemies, like it just shreds that, and you know, the fact that it has a cooldown doesn't matter. Yes, it may only have a DPS of like 360, but yeah, that's you're getting more out of it, that's for sure. Now this wave, I'm gonna send out these APCs because of the fallen angels. You could also use some DPS against this fallen guardian over here. Now all these stuns and all that probably is gonna be too much for me to handle. Oh, the fallen guardian got stuck. That's actually pretty convenient. Oh, never mind, there it goes. I mean, now it's just the fallen king, I guess. I'm gonna probably have to move these trappers. Okay, let's move the trap. What is going on to my game? Why is he breaking my game? What is with the lag? Oh no, this is gonna be so close. Come on. One more burst from these accelerators and we can win it right here. Please, bro. That was incredibly close. If he didn't stun that much, we would have won. But enjoy having your coins back. Like, subscribe, use star code if you want to see more updates like this. And I'll see ya next time.